So here I am again in the test I just conducted. If you need to go back and watch the video on how I did that, go back to the previous video. This one, I'm just going to talk about assumptions. So there are assumptions for every test that you conduct. For a paired samples t-test, for example, one of the assumptions is that we are using a related groups variable. So we have a categorical variable, which in this case is time, before and after, or pre and post. And they're related because they came from the same person. We also assume that we're using a continuous variable, and that's required for this test. But we also have other assumptions that are based on how the tests were created, what they're meant to do. And so for this test to be valid, we should test to see if it is normally distributed. Now, we don't have to worry about our group homogeneity of variance in the same way. We don't do a homogeneity for variance test in the same way that we do for an independent samples t-test because we have the same people. And so we can assume that there's less individual differences between them. We do need to check normality though. And just like I did in the independent samples t-test, if you've already watched that, I can click this assumption checks normality. I can also do the QQ plot. But basically, what we're looking to see is our dependent variable normally distributed? And we can see looking at this normality test that our p-value is pretty big. So to violate the assumption of normality, to say that we're going to reject this assumption of normality, our p-value would have to be less than 0.05. And so we're not going to reject the assumption of normality. Yay! So we can continue with this test. The other way you can look at this information is you can look at this QQ plot, and if it's normal, it will approximately fall on this line like it does right here. So the normality testing is this process. If we had violated normality, we can use this Wilcoxon rank test, which I talk about in a different video. You could click right there, and it would give you that information, which I'm not going to explain today. But there is an alternative non-parametric test that you can use that is also appropriate for ordinal variables. So that is the end of this video. And then in the next one, I will talk about interpreting the results.